everybody, what's going on? Hi, Ryan.
Hey, Ryan.
Basically, you have questions, and I have questions. You have answers. That is a damn good look for you.
Yeah.
It's Mardi Gras week, baby.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It is, dude. Oh yeah, I forgot it's Mardi Gras.
And
Oh,
once
right.
again, I have not actually made it. Next year, I hope. But until then,
you're going to come back with like 90 beads. Just gonna.
No. I'm going to come back with less beads. That's the idea.
Okay, so the goal is to actually basically not be as wanted in this case.
I wish to give out unto the people.
Okay.
Predominantly the
drunken
drunken
by
ones.
nature. So. Okay, so yeah, all right, why not?
Yeah.
Cool. I got nothing. I have literally nothing on that.
Oh,
well, plus it's also great because along with the hurricane here, I've got my Deadpool straw that he's doing a little like pole dance on.
And another point. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Tales from the Film Set.
Yes, and the Deadpool straw. That's like kind of cool. Does he go up and down or anything like that, or is it just stay put?
This isn't that kind of show, Scott. We can't talk about that.
He doesn't like go up and down like this or anything like that, or just
Stop trying to get Deadpool to climb my pole. All right, that's not right. Even though it is officially going to be an R-rated movie, Deadpool 3. He has stated as such,
which is a very smart move, I think, all things considered. When you think about it, also Daredevil is currently underway again. That'll probably be a little bit more milquetoast than the previous Netflix version.
Let me put this down so this way it's not.
Get those Disney Plus subscribers. They're dropping out the wazoo right now. So, but speaking of Disney and Marvel and all this kind of stuff, Tales from the Film Set, we're going to be talking a little bit of Ant-Man here. Ant-Man, as I'm calling it, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quadrophenia, because in honor of the Who in this case. Right now, you guys have seen it. You guys didn't think it was that bad. Thank you, Day. You gave a couple of subs on the YouTube channel with your video. I appreciate that.
No problem.
I paid for the bucket.
Ryan is basically, going the part here in this case.
I had enough points on my AMC Stubs A-list card to just get this for free.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
And then the money left over, you got like a spider ring or, a pen or something, right?
No. It came with the popcorn, so thankfully I didn't have to pay anything else.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. So,
see,
my question to you, gentlemen, is
just as empty as the plot.
What's that?
Just as empty as the plot.
Well,
yeah.
Look. I'll be first right up.
He cares about the green.
No. It's the fun house now. But
I know, which I hate that.
Yeah.
Look, we already had Davion with his short the day of the movie review, and it was great that he was positive about it. I would say the movie is fine. It's better than Love and Thunder. I'll give it that.
Way better than Love and Thunder.
But I would almost say that it's also kind of on par with maybe Multiverse of Madness.
Come on, stop.
Here's the thing.
Time out.
No. Hey.
Let me you compare it.
No, you had your review.
I know, but I'm going to intervene in this.
Let Ryan have a shot here. Basically, you'll get your rebuttal. I promise you that. But also because you did actually have the review there, and also because I already know what you were to say, Ryan, the floor is yours because you are less enamored by this, and you're usually pretty more chill about these kind of things.
Well, I mean, this was the first Marvel movie I'd say in a while that pretty much had like a lot less burn leading up to its premiere. It didn't really get as much talk about it, except maybe for the fact of Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror, which I will say he did a phenomenal job for that particular Kang. I'd say in many ways it was like the mirror version of He Who Remains that we got from the Loki series, which of course, if you haven't watched Loki, it'll play up a little bit. So, that's another thing. This is another one of those movies where it's like you have to be a little bit enamored into all that Marvel has done in order to really get a lot of the plot points. If you're someone who hasn't gone to see a Marvel movie and this is like your first one in a while, you are going to be lost like they were in the Quantum Realm. But acting for Jonathan Majors aside, I will also say Michelle Pfeiffer, scene stealer. We need more of her in the entirety of the MCU. I liked what she had to do here. The rest of the cast was great. Catherine Newton as
the daughter.
Cassie.
Yeah, now the third daughter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I almost hate to say we can't even count much of the second daughter because the second daughter just like had 5 seconds of screen time. But
a good 5 seconds though.
Yeah, no, a phenomenal fight, and she looks more like the younger daughter. You know, it's like the acting was fine. My problem here was with the writing and the directing. Now, I know that may sound like a lot, but here's the thing. This is not an Ant-Man movie in the traditional sense that we have gotten for the first two. This was not really a heist movie. This was a sci-fi epic with one small scene of heist in it, thus quantifying the need to have Ant-Man in it. Otherwise, I wouldn't even say this was an Ant-Man movie. This could have easily been done by some other character.
I've been hearing that basically both him and Wasp are kind of almost cameos in this movie.
Do you know what it is? If they had Fantastic Four soon enough before this movie came out, I could have easily seen this being a Fantastic Four movie because this plays right into their warehouse.
Right.
But with this, it's almost like they hammered in all the ant analogy that they possibly could just to make it seem like, oh, yeah, Ant-Man definitely fits in this feature. And I get that there is some need for some of the characters to be the way they were, especially MODOK. The way they set up MODOK, a lot of people are either hating MODOK or they're loving MODOK. For what they did for the character, and for as weird as the character is, it makes sense. This is the best kind of MODOK that you were possibly going to get in the MCU, even if they did have to like cross a very large bridge to get there. But the writing has so many holes in the plot, and Peyton Reed, as good as he's been on the last two movies, he's been more of a comedic director. He should not have directed this because it's like they tried to force the humor out of something like this. And given the weight and the severity of the characters and what Kang tries to do, and the whole thing with Janet really not wanting to talk about it and how emotional this was for her.
Maybe she should have brought this up sometime between the two movies.
Yeah, well, that's one of the big plot holes.
Spoiler on that one.
this whole movie, when the How It Should Have Ended comes out for this movie,
oh god,
oh my goodness, they are going to pick out everything. And that's what really ultimately turned me off, because there really isn't anything surprising about this film. This is as cookie cutter a sci-fi epic as you can possibly get with the MCU. And that's saying something considering some of the other sci-fi stuff that we've gotten in the MCU, whether it be Thor, whether it be Guardians, whether it be Captain Marvel. This really just kind of like fell flat in regards to it being a kickoff for Phase 5. And as far as plot development is concerned, look, I mean, spoilers? Can we do spoilers?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
All right. We know the Council of Kangs, which, yes, the Council of Ricks came after the Council of Kangs. That's what it was coming off of. All right. For all you goddamn Gen Zers. The Council of Ricks was a play off the Council of Kangs. Kang came first.
Future for that series, but that's another problem for later.
Yes, Justin Roiland be him what it may, but I'm fine with the Council of Kangs. I'm fine with all the different iterations of Kang. But you know what? Try telling that to somebody who has never seen an MCU movie about this before and who knows very little about Kang other than He Who Remains and what you've got in this film. You're setting up so much, but you're not explaining enough for people to latch on. And this is supposed to be the kickoff to Phase 5, where you have already a movie called Avengers Kang Dynasty. All right, you're putting the cart before the horse, Marvel, and that's why I feel like it's probably in the best interest, from what Kevin Feige has said, and I'm sure he's being backed by Bob Iger, that they're going to slow down on Marvel production and really try to stretch out what they have to work with, which I think is the smartest thing to do, because let's face it, the only reason we got in so much at this moment is because the pandemic forced Marvel to truncate a lot of its stuff into a certain amount of time in order for things to still be on schedule. And unfortunately, when you're pushing that much, you're getting things lost in the mire. Now, yes, thankfully, we're going to have Loki Season 2, which plays into the movie. So that's
from what I understand, this was more of a sequel to Loki than it really was to Ant-Man.
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I mean, there were definitely some hints that if you had seen the season finale of the first season of Loki, it did play into this film. But as far as Loki really being attached, I would have loved it if Loki actually made an appearance during the events, because then it almost feels like it's kind of making sense to cross them over at this point, knowing what we know from the first season of Loki. Instead, all we got was a little teaser at the end for season 2 that really didn't even play into the movie. It was just more of like a nod and a wink. Well, see, I needed more than a nod and a wink if you're going to go ahead and try to build up something that's been starting since season 4, coming over here, and we've already had so much talk about multiverses in the past few movies that we need a little bit more payoff than just seeing what happens to Kang the Conqueror, which, personally, I don't even think he's dead.
Probably not, no, because you wouldn't obviously be able to do that. That would be very anticlimactic considering you're building it up. But in this case, I heard the phrase conveyor belt, by the way, when it comes to MCU movies at this point. But what I'm noticing now, far more than we ever did a few years back, is that the movies have become much more an advertisement for the next profit. And that's where I think the issue comes in. I heard something recently, and this is a little off topic. We can go to Mandalorian eventually. But part of the reason why Baby Yoda, spoilers, came back to Mandalorian is because the people on high above Jon Favreau were like, this product sells more merchandise if the two of them are together. Original plan was he's training with Luke. He's doing his own thing, maybe a cameo with them later on. But they did what they did with that character because it all comes down to the bottom line, selling product, consuming product, and getting to the next product.
Which don't even get me started on the outfits. Yeah. Oh, crap. All right. I liked it back when Ant-Man and Wasp almost kind of had like a matching theme to the both of them. If you remember how the Wasp costume kind of looked almost in the same bluish color scheme, a little bit more robotic.
Right.
Here, you've got him in the all red, her in the all yellow. You got Cassie in the all purple. They're looking like Power Rangers more than the Ant-Man family. All right? Come on.
And that's a big part of this too. One of the things that I think was really, really nice about Ant-Man is, by comparison, it was such a small film.
Yeah.
It didn't really have like the big drop. You had already gotten through, I believe, 2 different Avengers movies at that point, and obviously multiple Iron Man, 3 Iron Man, Thor, all this kind of stuff, and Ant-Man felt about that big by comparison, but it worked because it was its own small film, that you got engrossed in it. That big dramatic fight that happened in the end where they're both shrunk down and you got the 2 trains crashing into each other and you just see it's like, the little like plastic trains and just fall. Little stuff like that made it fun. It made it feel good.
It was more personal at that point. And that's what really Ant-Man, not so much Ant-Man as a character, because you could easily argue that Hank Pym, if they were working with Hank Pym as opposed to Scott Lang, it probably would be on that bigger scale. But Scott Lang as a character is more down to earth, is more street level. And that's why the first 2 movies really worked for that particular version, because it was more about a criminal trying to do good. It was trying to do good by his family. It was trying to do good about his reputation, his friends. Hell, half the fun of the Ant-Man movies were his, criminal, workmates that you don't even get in this film. Right. You've already taken half the fun out of the enjoyment of being someone that could almost feel immersed into the experience. That's why I'm saying, for as good of a sci-fi film as this is, you shouldn't have used Ant-Man. You could have used practically almost anyone else.
The Marvels is being pushed back in this case. Now, let me see how well this shows up in this regard. All right, I'm going to have to probably go full screen with this.
Yeah.
This, by the way, is the breakdown of the box office draws for pretty much every Marvel movie. So you can see in there basically the Avengers worldwide box office. You have to scroll so far down to get to Ant-Man and Wasp here, at 623. And then basically the Ant-Man previously is 518. This is on the low end of most of the MCU stuff, hung in there with Iron Man, the first Thor, Black Widow, Doctor Strange.
Look at the production budget too,
which also is true. Yeah, great point there. But if you look at a lot of these movies here, it's kind of really on the low end of things. The only movies that did worse than Ant-Man were Thor, which was brand new affair, Shang-Chi, Eternals, which were really, which struggled royally, Captain America, and Incredible Hulk, which again, that was still brand new era, and Black Widow, which got pushed back because of COVID. So you look at all of those. This is the franchise, as much as that struggle, this is the franchise that launched Phase 5. And I did an article on this, and I talked about the pressure that's being put on a movie franchise that has not done that well historically, and being like, this is our launching off point for our brand new era of films. And that is too much pressure on a movie that we've already agreed is a smaller universe to do, you know.
Right. And the only reason they put it first was because of Kang. I almost would say you probably should have started off more with Guardians 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
A known, recognized franchise at this point.
Well, especially since the whole James Gunn thing, too, because if that's going to be the final James Gunn movie, kick it, get it out of there. So that this way, the association isn't being split between what he's conceptualizing for DC and then this free promotion that Disney is essentially going to give Gunn with the promotion of the film. Just
which is funny.
Get it out Phase 5. Let that be it.
You know, but what you're saying is basically just get it out there, start Phase 5, and then just be like, okay, we're done with James Gunn. We can move on.
Yes.
You know, and minimize the amount of attention he will draw for your rival, company.
Right.
Right, because then you can use all the remaining time to really focus on the stuff that is primarily going to be yours, like AntMan, like Marvels. Whether or not it's a smart idea to push the Marvels back to November, I'm hoping it is. Because
they already did push it back.
Yeah.
They already did push Marvels back. But also, when you look at like Agatha Harkness, Echo, and Ironheart, that's all been pushed off to next year now too. So there's 3 Disney Plus series that were originally going to be airing this year that are pushed back to next year because of the struggles with the mouse right now.
Which makes a lot of sense considering that it's going to be hard to really antiquate those particular series into anything that's coming into the movies that are being put out into theaters right now. There isn't going to be that kind of connection.
You know, I mean, like I said, that's where a lot of the stuff gets confusing because you have to watch. This is the reason I stopped reading comic books as a teenager, because there was so much crossover and so many asterisks about check this, look at this, do this, that I got tired of the effort of trying to hunt these things down because just to be able to find out what the reference was. That is exactly what they're doing with these movies at this point. Yeah. And they are pissing off a lot of the fan base now who are getting burned out because they don't want to continue to put the time and the effort in on mediocre content just to find out what the hell's going on with the latest movie.
Right, but that's also the smart decision that they've actually made in regards to the series, because if you look at the 2 series that are the only 2 so far guaranteed to premiere this year, being Loki Season 2 and Secret Invasion, those are the series that are going to play into the movies that are being released this year.
Right.
More so with Secret Invasion, because between the Skrulls and whatever alien stuff is going to play in, we don't know if that's going to play into Guardians 3, but we definitely know it could play into Marvels, because Marvels and the Skrulls are just, they're connected.
Right.
Now, interestingly enough, in this case here, it actually bombed for the critic score, 47%. Audience score 84. That doesn't really surprise me that much. But the critics who have so long been in the corner of the MCU and Disney are turning their backs more. And I find that interesting.
I can't say I'm surprised now, because Marvel's been put up on such a plateau that they're expected to give out a certain quality, and they have not necessarily been pushing out that quality. They've been pushing quantity over quality, especially with Quantumania, which I'm going to be up front and say it. Quantumania is a stupid title.
I keep calling, like I said, Quadrophenia from the Who album.
Like, we get it's in the quantum realm, but Quantumania, anytime you have something mania, it just sounds cheesy.
Do you see the caption at the bottom there? I had to copy and paste Quantumania because I did not know how to write it. I had to look it up and then copy it off a Google search.
Really?
Yes. Really? I couldn't trust myself to spell it correctly. So I just sat, like I said, I just sat there and I was like, okay, type it in, double click, copy and paste, because I didn't want to spell it wrong and I didn't trust my ability to be able to do so. It's like Shawshank Redemption. I mean, Morgan Freeman couldn't even pronounce his own name. I really love that movie that you were in, Shang Shum,
I'm surprised you didn't go with a Hotel Transylvania Transformania like they had for the 4th movie.
Living it up at the Hotel Quantumania.
Oh, don't give him an idea for a 5th movie.
Like, come on, snap your fingers. Come on, ladies and gentlemen.
Dude, I've got my hurricane. All right, I'm good enough as it is. Oof, sweet.
Any time of year, you can hide in here. But
okay,
yeah,
let's go on to some happier news.
Yes.
Yeah.
Y'all got a plug you want to do?
Well, I thought we were going to go Richard Belzer, but
I pretty much was going to say
we can do Richard Belzer. Yes,
Richard Belzer. Oh yeah. So Saturn news.
Well, I mean, happier than this movie, but still.
Wow, that's setting things pretty low for this movie. Then
Hey.
let's talk about the passing of an iconic actor is basically happier than this movie is.
Yeah, but look how happy he is. Look at him with that smile. He's a happy-go-lucky guy, and he's had a very long and established career. Good for him.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing about Richard Belzer, who unfortunately passed over the weekend, a lot of people will recognize him as Munch from Law and Order, who, of course, he played Munch on Homicide: Life in the Streets before that. So they just
Kimmy Schmidt, Arrested Development. Apparently he played John Munch in 11 different things.
Yeah, no, I mean, Munch was just that guy. He was like McGruff the crime dog, But what a lot of people don't.
Forest fires.
Yeah. That's Smokey the Bear. No, we're not talking Smokey the Bear. Smokey the Bear we can talk about once Cocaine Bear comes out, all right?
Oh,
but,
God.
Oh, God. No.
Inspired by a true story.
God.
Only you can.
Stop.
No. All right. But anyway, what a lot of people don't know about Richard Belzer, or at least what probably a lot of younger people who only know him from his cop work, is that before that he was a very established stand-up comic.
Yes.
Which you kind of can see with his portrayal of Munch and the stuff that he does, because he always had like that little bit of like sass to him.
Yes.
But that came with his time working on stand-up, whether it was performing the Berenstain Cocaine Bear.
I can't. Why?
No, the Berenstain Bears. So this way you get the proper
Kyle?
pronunciation. Not
Was
Stain, Kane.
Was that Kyle?
Yeah, it was Kyle.
Oh my God, Kyle.
Hey, I think it works.
It works, but God.
Well, okay.
There's Papa Kane and Mama Kane and Brother Kane and Sister Kane.
And a whole bunch
of Kane and Hurricane.
Hey, Hurricane. There we go.
Hurricane.
Yeah.
By the way, can I just point one thing out here? I just really want to mention this.
Sure.
I'm old enough to remember this segment. This is a Sesame Street segment from back in 1979, 1980, somewhere around there, where the dog was eating a sandwich and eating the lunch of two characters. One of the people on Sesame Street was Richard Belzer. I remember this segment as a kid about the dog trying to take their food away. I had no idea that was future John Munch because I'm like 5 years old. What do I know? But I found that. I'm like, holy crap. I remember this as a kid.
Yeah,
I remember the segment 70s, and it's like, that was Richard Belzer, Sesame Street.
Well, funny enough, he actually ended up being a Muppet.
Yeah.
He has his own Muppet character.
Yes, he did. Special Letters Unit, by the way, I believe was the name of that segment.
Right.
Yeah, that's.
Oh my God!
I mean, you were awesome when basically like Sesame Street's like we're parodying your show, which really, when you think about it, it's like Law and Order Special Victims Unit and Sesame Street. It was kind of like when they did a parody of Boardwalk Empire. The Sopranos or any of the stuff that they've ever done.
Oh, I'm sure they've done like some Game of Thrones things at some time.
They did actually. Sesame Street did do a parody of Game of Thrones.
Well, yeah. Well, that's back when I guess HBO went ahead and bought the rights to Sesame Street.
Could be. But yeah, basically when you're in the 80s and you have like toy stuff for like Terminator and RoboCop, and then meanwhile Sesame Street's like hold my grape soda here.
But yeah, I don't think there's been. I mean, for as long as Law and Order has been around, I think there's only been like maybe two other actors' deaths within the lineage of the show that have probably hit as hard.
Lenny Briscoe, Jerry Orbach.
Yeah, that's one. I would also say Sorvino. Sorvino probably played
early though.
He was early, yes. But if we're talking about like longtime fans of the series,
Chairs. Okay, that's the one. Thank you.
Game of Chairs.
That was the name of it. Okay, I remember. Like I said, I knew that there was one in there, but
who's gonna play the Game of Chairs?
But also, and I hate to mention this because it does play into the rule of threes. Before Richard Belzer passed, there was also Raquel Welch, which, you know, to a man of a certain age and possibly even younger, that is just a knife in the heart.
Right.
You know, Raquel Welch was one of those ageless beauties, you know, whether from her, even back when she was in like Grumpy Old Men, or Grumpier Old Men, I should say.
She wasn't in that one. That was Sophia
And
Loren.
Margaret, and was in the first one, yes.
And Sophia Loren was in the second one.
Oh, it was Sophia Loren.
By the way, this picture right here, just want to point that out, it's from Seinfeld. Just want to mention
yes, that was her. That's the image that they've been touting around a lot lately, her with from that episode. Which I can't believe that there's hardly been anything about her since.
Well, they got to move on.
Also,
by the way, technically there is a third that passed. The Japanese film director of Galaxy Express 999, Captain Harlock, and a bunch of the other stuff from the 70s and 80s. He passed away just recently also.
Wow.
Galaxy Express 999, which was had a much younger Masako Nozawa before she voiced Goku. So,
wow. I mean, unfortunately, yes, not as probably as well known, but certainly as impactful. But yeah, from what I'm seeing here, Raquel hadn't had anything to do since 2017, which I'm very surprised by.
Yeah, she could have retired.
Well, her last big thing was probably How to Be a Latin Lover.
Mm-hmm.
She had some turns in CSI Miami. Ain't Simple Rules back in 2004.
Oh god! That was
Legally Blonde. Oh god, no. Oh, don't do this to her. No.
What?
At the same time that she did that episode of Seinfeld, she was in Chairman of the Board, starring Carrot Top.
Oh Lord!
Oh.
Mind you, this is a sex symbol of the, you know, swinging 60s and 70s. This is the woman from, like, you know, 10,000 year BC right there. I feel bad for her.
See,
I feel worse for her now.
There's a classier image. But yeah, I mean, listen, you do the paycheck. Why did Sir Ben Kingsley do The Dictator with Sacha Baron Cohen? Sometimes you just take the check.
Yeah.
Why did Abe Vigoda do Good Burger?
The aftermath of Iron Man 3, so.
No. Dictator was 2011. They filmed that. I know. So I did 4 days on there with a complete asshole. A guy who literally after 3 days, I told him I was exasperated. I was like, well, obviously you're a better person than I am. And he said straight to my face, as a matter of fact, I am. And I was like, yeah, I like you. Never speak to me again. And I saw the guy for like 6 years straight. It drove me crazy. But yeah, The Dictator was filmed in 2011.
Wow.
Fair.
So yeah, Sir Ben Kingsley, why? Abe Vigoda, why did you do Good Burger?
I mean, it almost hurts to know that, like, there's actors of these caliber that were monumental in their day that have to end up resorting to lesser things just to get the paycheck. You know, it shouldn't be right. You know, residuals should be able to count for enough, and their name alone should be able to get them a little bit more notoriety, because there's a reason they've established themselves as a name. There was a reason Raquel Welch looked as good.
I enjoyed Good Burger.
Why did anyone do? Because it was Nickelodeon.
It was Nickelodeon, and it was a cult classic. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it was. I mean, listen, it was like, hey, Shaq did basically. He was a commercial pitchman in that. Plug in the Good Burger itself years before he would become a pitchman for everything else in the universe.
Yeah, it's like asking, why did anyone do movie 43?
I don't remember that one.
I do.
I don't know that one. Oh, do we have a movie? I don't know, that basically I need to see because it's really terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, if only we were still doing bad movie beatdown.
No.
Whew.
Oh, I've seen that cover before. Okay.
You've seen the cover, but you haven't seen the movie.
4.3 rating on 107,000 reviews on IMDb. Sold.
Yeah.
Good cast.
Wait, hold on. The rating is 4.3
out of 10.
Oh, they did that on purpose.
Oh God! Oh my God! I didn't even think of that. Oh, good call.
That was some fan calculating right there. It's like, dude, how many reviews do we
Richard Gere, Dennis Quaid, Common, Greg Kinnear, Liev Schreiber, Stephen Merchant, Seth MacFarlane, Hugh Jackman. Kate Winslet. How do you, basically you got a movie like that with that many people in it, and you're like, yeah, this is gonna suck ass. You know, well, it was like that movie with Kate Winslet and also like Will Smith.
The one where it's like Will Smith meets the
like a guardian
embodiment
angel
of
or
love
something.
and time and something like that.
Something like that. Yeah,
It's got like
a
Edward
really
Norton in it.
there. Shaq Fu. God bless Shaq Fu. Dude, there was a Shaq Fu game and a sequel to Shaq Fu.
Yeah, I got the sequel.
Did you? Nice, good sir.
Yeah, how did we never get a movie for that one?
That would have been fired.
Give it time. You do an animated movie of that? Do you think basically that would probably work really well? And then Shaq would go to the studio and be like, "It's Shaq Fu time." And it's like, cha-ching.
Yeah, what was that?
I remember that movie because there was an overnight that had to be shot on an ice skating rink, and because Kate Winslet was there, so was every single paparazzi.
Collateral Beauty.
One of them. What is it?
Collateral Beauty.
Yeah, that's the one. I did a day on that.
Retreating for life after a tragedy, a man questions the universe by writing to love, time, and death. Receiving unexpected answers, he begins to see how these things interlock and how even loss can reveal moments of meaning and beauty. Ugh. Such Oscar bait.
Yeah, and it bombed.
You.
By the way, no Shaq Fu movie. We used Kazam. Remember, we did watch Kazam. And he dunks the the baddie at the end in the garbage can, which apparently I couldn't actually use as a video and a reaction to it because YouTube flagged it as copyright content. It's like X-Men,
Yeah, we can't use videos. All we can do is like use a lot of images and just like stack them.
Which killed it. I mean, here's the thing: Nerdrotic actually used footage today of AntMan Quantumania that was very clearly not from the trailers, and clear passing. Kazam with Shaq, and YouTube's like, no, you won't do that. We're protecting this movie.
Maybe because Shaq made Sude Bahas if it got leaked.
I was so disappointed because that scene was great. Kazam is really, really fun when you're drunk. And I'm pretty sure I was pretty wiped that day.
Oh my God. Really?
Oh,
really,
dude.
Scott?
Hey, I've been better. I don't have as much back there anymore, so
Oh wow. Yeah, you're right.
Well, no,
anyway, topic-wise, I almost hate to say that we probably already know who the third one might be.
I have a theory.
Because it was also reported over the weekend that Tom
Sizemore, President Carter. Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say Tom Sizemore. What you said, President Carter?
Yeah, Jimmy Carter's on hospice.
Oh, Tom Sizemore is in critical condition from a brain aneurysm.
But Jimmy Carter's like 109 years old.
Exactly, he'll be fine.
Really?
Tom Sizemore, on the other hand, he's had a rough decade or so. So I wouldn't be surprised if he unfortunately passes.
No.
But Sizemore, yeah, because it's weird because Sizemore dated Heidi Fleiss for a while, which I just found really weird.
Yeah, the late 90s were crazy, man.
They really were. I remember them well. Good era, by the way. Good era.
Yeah, great times, but crazy.
Oh, yeah. All right. Moving on. I figured basically in this case, Ryan, you're very good, very sweet, very kind, loving, charismatic, and personable bosses, of to which we really like as people in many, many different ways, fashions, and form.
You can't see because of the big clock.
There we go.
There we go.
Yes, these two basically. Ryan, take it away, sir. Just go with it.
Do you have to have shameless plug there on the bottom?
All right, fine. Hang on a second.
Look, the fact that I'm mentioning it is already a plug, and especially considering it's not necessarily a show that I am involved in. I'm not on the credits or anything. I have no personal stake in its success. But, yeah, so here in the state of Jersey, where if you hustle hard enough, you can get to bigger and brighter things. For those of you who don't know, outside of any acting that I may end up doing, my more or less day-to-day job is being a courier for a real estate company, specifically Signature Realty, and more specifically the Michelle Pius Group, which is the subset that is run by the boss's wife, Michelle Pius, and that's the other person, the main person of Signature Realty, Mr. Jonathan Steingraber. And yeah, they both now have a television show that will premiere this Saturday, the 25th, on A&E at 12 noon. That'll be the premiere of the first episode, and it's called 24-Hour Flip. And basically what it is, I mean, you've seen a lot of like house flipping shows and everything. This is pretty much as explained. They take a residence and they plan to actually take 12 hours on Friday, 12 hours on Saturday, and have it ready for open house that coming Sunday. So to be able to have that kind of a turnover at a location, if you watch any other show, is ridiculous. But they pull it off. And all I can say about the show is I have seen an episode of it. I haven't seen the premiere, so I can't say anything about that. But I have seen an episode of it that'll probably premiere sometime, I imagine, next month. And it's a fun show. It is, because anybody that's ever owned a house, or anybody that's ever watched like a flipping show, or someone having to deal with like remodeling of a house, you know the kind of complications that can come up. To be able to do it in the amount of time that it pretty much takes people just to promote for an open house, let alone get things ready to go in that time, it's hard to do. Yeah, Joe Kessler here, he's part of the crew that usually works with John in regards to a lot of his streaming and filmmaking and everything. Actually, he helped work on a documentary of John and his early upbringings and the troubles that went through. That we also saw that this weekend as well, called Unlucky Advantage. It's probably going to end up on YouTube. We want to try to get it into the short film market, because we can probably ice it down to that. But yeah, the first episode was filmed 3 years ago, and they actually tried in a single day. That didn't work, but they were able to work out a certain plan that does allow for enough time for things to happen. No, Kyle, they don't make that much profit per property. They can probably sell a place for that much. Profit is a whole different thing. You see how much you actually get once everything has to be thrown in, because you have to understand, with a situation like this, you have a lot of guys on the field. You have a lot of workers all working in one space at one time, which is unheard of. And just
systematically too, because they're under a time crunch.
Yeah,
like everybody has their own very specific rule that they have, or basically very specific responsibility.
Yeah, like think of it in like filmmaking terms. Think of like first crew and second crew and editing happening all at the same time while on set. It's a boondoggle for a lot of people, but John and his people, especially his two main crew people, Danny and Borges, which, by the way, Danny, definitely the scene stealer of the show. He is the funny man. He is the atypical Jersey guy. I remember, because I used to bartend for all these people before I got brought on as a courier. Danny was like one of those guys that, every time he came to the bar, he ended up killing a bottle. So that's how you ingrain yourself into my presence. When you kill my alcohol and you let me know that I have to go ahead and get prepped for you, you stay in my memory.
By the way, Joe, are you the same Joe that did Reno 911? Let me know that. So I'm just curious on that.
Oh, Joe Kessler?
Yeah.
No. Trust me. If Joe did Reno 911 and never told me, I would.
There is a Joe Kessler as a cinematographer, so I thought maybe that was Reno 911 and did 80 some odd episodes. So.
No. I mean, Joe, did you do that? Because that would have been a while ago, long before I met you.
He will never tell.
Joe, did you? Did you, Joe? Joe?
He's like, he already signed off. But
No. That's not him.
Okay. Worth a shot.
No. That'd be great if it was.
All right.
But yeah, I would say
he just said no. So all right.
But okay, so that aside, I would recommend anybody that wants to go ahead and take some time out, watch the premiere episode. Let us know what you think in the comments. We will go ahead and try to clip this out, I guess. But Yeah. So if you do happen to watch the show, let us know in the comments, either on the Stream Punk Entertainment page or on the Tales from the Film Set page, and let us know what your thoughts are. Watch it for John, watch it for Michelle, watch it for everybody at Signature, because they all work very hard and they make me work very hard. So I kind of have to, do things for them, especially talk about.
Ryan deserves a raise.
Yes.
I already got a raise last year. I don't want to press it.
He deserves a raise every time the calendar hits to a new month.
Facts.
John, this is not me saying this. This is We're good. We're good.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. In all seriousness, we could always basically probably do a few articles on the show too, a couple reviews, things of that sort. There's a few different things we can do with the company. So,
all right. We'll see how things come.
We'll talk off air about that. So,
right.
But all right.
Now,
cool.
Speaking of shows to be done and looked at, I believe Scott has his own little endeavor, another series from Apple TV that he's been attached to. Welcome to the world of tomorrow.
Let's see. How's it? Full-time instructor. My husband, our housing budget is $3.5 million.
Yeah, no. I've seen those clips. I've seen the clips of people being like, no. We make little trinkets in our garage, and my husband's unemployed. Our budget is 3.5. No, people.
But something that does in fact have a decent budget. Apple TV is continuing to draw attention with a lot of the stuff that they've got out there. Ted Lasso season 3 is coming out on March 15th. Guess where I'm going to be on March 15th. But in this particular case, with regards to Hello Tomorrow, it was kind of an under the radar TV series that I had the fortune of spending about 4 months on.
I was about to say, I never heard of the show at all. There's been no rumoring about it since you showed us the trailer.
Right.
Yeah. And that's the funny thing. It's been kind of a little under the radar by comparison to, like, say, Severance or, like I said, Ted Lasso, which obviously got a lot of attention and everything like that. But it's a very 1950s, yet takes place in the future kind of a setup. So the cars that were there were all the cars from the 1950s. They shot this thing out in Long Island for that stuff. It was kind of glorious. Here, let me show you this one image real quick. So, like I said, a very futuristic yet very 1950s style to it.
Marty McFly would love that.
Oh, dude, it actually, like I said, it was a 1950. It had a very, like I said, 1950s feel to it. Now, in this case, I'm not going to go into spoilers on this. I'm not going to talk anything about with regards to what's happening with the show, things like that. 3 episodes have already aired. It's a 10-episode series. I will tell you outright that Hank Azaria, he doesn't talk much, but when he does, it captivates you, especially when he decides to run lines as Simpson characters. He ran his lines as Chief Wiggum. And that is an amazing experience if you ever get the chance to do it. I never had the guts to say hi to that guy, because the cast themselves were peeing all over themselves for the very fact that Hank Azaria was there. You got Billy Crudup, who is, won an Emmy. You got basically a lot of the cast here that's been around for a very long time, accomplished a great deal of stuff. And it's incredible because in this case, with the cast that they've got, they were still sitting there looking at Hank Azaria and being like, that's the dude from The Simpsons. That's Mo Sizlak.
But, nothing to take away from Billy Crudup, because Billy Crudup is Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah, I know.
The Watchmen.
I got to tell you, he was really chill, very kind. A lot of one of the things I mentioned in the article is that
he didn't have his dick hanging around the whole time, did he?
He did not. No, thankfully. Honestly, this is
Azul tool, as I used to call it.
I got to tell you, this is pretty kid friendly, all things considered, by some of the stuff that's out there. The pressure on being the number one on the call sheet is a very difficult pressure. Far more than when you're 2 or below, because the entire show centers around you. And I have seen some actors honestly just really 100% blow it because they can't handle the pressure of having a show being led by them. He honestly very chill, very laid back. The show centers around, he mentors a young kid who's actually really his son, no spoilers there. And this brand new kid, who, by the way, as an actor, has like no IMDb credits. They found him. He had some theater credits. This kid is a complete 100% noob. and the dynamic of Billy mentoring this young actor parallels to the character, one character mentoring the other. And it's a really nice kind of a feel to it. Crew days were like 11-hour shoot days, just for fun stakes in this case here. That is actually me in the, that is actually in fact me in that house.
Let's zoom in, like enhance.
Can I zoom this?
Enhance. I'm doing it like Super Troopers because Super Troopers premiered this day 21 years ago. Yeah. I should know this. I've got their autographs on my wall.
Nice. So.
Yeah. Okay. I kind of see it.
Yeah, that's me right there. So.
Yeah. I've seen enough pictures of you in a suit to be like, yeah, that's Scott.
That I'll go right there. Yeah.
Oh, stop it.
But yeah, like I said, the shoot days honestly were very, 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 very laid back, very chill. Shot over the course of about 4 months, mostly in Brooklyn, really. And yeah. And yeah, like I said, in this case, I would also recommend checking the show out because the 1950s feel that exists on something like this is, like you said, very Marty McFly when he went back in time. The only difference is this is the distant future. So, you have in this, like, for example, you have floating robots. This robot was operated by 4 different people who built it and all wore completely green screen suits. Wow. They CGI'd them out. So you had this floating robot handle all your various needs. Dude, I got to tell you, it was a freaking awesome show. I had a lot of fun. The crew had a lot of fun with it. And I've worked on some stuff that has been unbridledly brutal in difficult settings and things like that. And by God, this show, especially for a first season, never had that. Very, very happy with that.
I will say this gives me, like you said, Back to the Future vibes, but also a live action Jetsons type feel to it.
Yes, I think that was.
I could see that. Yeah.
So
it's like that's a lot smaller than Rosie, but still, it's up there.
Because
it was that aesthetic. It was like that. Mind you, I think Jetsons was more 60s than 50s, but certainly it still had like that old style Americana sort of thing going on with it. With that, especially back in those days where it's like the future was like the space and astronauts and all this fantasy stuff that could possibly happen. To actually mingle that in to the look of the fan base that would have been watching that stuff back in that day.
Oh yeah,
it's a little surreal.
And what's funny about it is it's almost like if someone from the 1950s had written this with the idea of what the future was going to look like from their vantage point of like the Eisenhower era. Let's fast forward 200 years. This is what the world's going to look like in 2150 through the eyes of someone from 1950 or 55. Right. And it gives a really surreal feel to it. Thank you. Also, once again, Apple TV was kind enough to give my family health insurance. You guys rock. But yeah, decent crew days. Most part was actually, like I said, filmed in Brooklyn in this case. Nick Podnoy is the kid next to Billy Crudup. Like I said, this kid had no real IMDb credits whatsoever. Basically nothing. Very, very soft kid, very nervous because it's like, oh my God, out of nowhere, I'm the second person on the call sheet. The only one higher than me won a freaking Emmy.
but here's the thing: for the kind of setup that they're doing, he's got the right look for it. He's got that clean cut, probably wearing khakis to school sort of look.
Yeah.
It's like, and that's really what you need for this sort of thing. Now I do have to ask, how would you compare your experience to this show to the experience of working on Severance, which was also Apple Plus program?
Severance is full stand-in. This one I did BG and stand-in, so it's a little different from that regard. I had more downtime on this than I did on that because they were really chill about it. They're like, okay, you shot your scene, just chill out and holding or go get something to eat and we'll call you in 5 hours. So when you have a 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. wake up and you got 5 hours of downtime, down you go. Severance has a mandatory 13-hour shoot day with a half an hour lunch. So it's a little longer in that regard. Severance is pretty chill. Adam Scott is a little more insecure. Insecure is a bad word.
Yeah, we don't know who's watching this.
He doesn't have right now the experience that Billy Crudup has as being the number one on the call sheet. So that's new for him. So he's a little more quiet in this case. People have, with Ben Stiller as director, Ben is very serious, very directed, very focused, but he does not treat anybody badly. That's the big thing. There's no condescension. There's no insults, nothing of that sort. I told you the story about the time I bumped into him and I bounced off him because it was like bumping into a brick wall. The dude's just like was pure rock solid.
And now who's directing Hello Tomorrow?
There's a bunch of different directors on it depending on the episode.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of like
it varies in
Walking
this
Dead
particular
sort of
case.
thing.
But the shoots themselves were, like I said, honestly about 11, 12 hours. So they were pretty manageable in this case. Long Island, some Brooklyn for the most part with a lot of this stuff. The episode with the baseball game that we'll call it in episode 2 was shot at Coney Island. But even that only went to like 2 o'clock in the morning. So it was actually pretty manageable for a night scene that way. And then I drove back all the way back from Coney Island to New Jersey 2 o'clock on a Saturday morning. If you've ever driven in New York City in the middle of the night, you get some really, really interesting drivers out there, and I encountered many. But yeah, no, it was honestly, like I said, Hello Tomorrow is under the radar a little bit, but it's.
Oh, Alison Pill's in this too.
Yes, I never saw. I was meant to say that. I forgot to.
Oh, yeah, I love me some Alison Pill. I've loved her ever since. I never saw her
in there. So, but yeah, she's all decked out.
Weaver? Oh wow,
what's that?
Jackie Weaver.
Yeah.
And Michael Harney, who I remember from Orange is the New Black.
Mm-hmm.
You got a good-looking cast here.
Yeah.
Series directed. Let me just see if it's because after the whole AntMan, Wasp, Quantumania thing, my issue with like getting the right directors for stuff like this is now going to be ingrained in my head. So I'm hoping that these directors have like some type of like sci-fi expertise in order to really like pull this off.
Yeah, it was 2. It was basically per IMDb, we have 2 so far: Jonathan Entwistle and Ryan McFall.
Okay, Jonathan Entwistle, he was a producer on the End of the Effing World and I Am Not Okay With This on Netflix, both of those. So, okay, that alone gives him proper credentials. If you ever seen any of those shows, they're like they're good for like that kind of like normal yet post-apocalyptic sort of feel to it.
And then Ryan, in this case here,
okay, he directed on Crashing, on Lady Dynamite, Amy Schumer, Inside Amy Schumer, I should say. All right, so he's got the comedy chops. All right, I like that.
Yeah, so they're
Alone Together. He was directed. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Garfunkel and Oates, which also was kind of under the radar. Kate Micucci.
Yes.
And one of those things you actually see Kate Micucci's face and not just her voice.
Yeah. No. And I'm liking the look of this.
Like I said,
this might be enough to actually make me want to steal someone's Apple Plus account.
Wow.
Well, I got Apple Plus. I had to pay for it because, again, these guys were nice enough to do that. The phone, Apple. And, of course, obviously with MLS and all the things that are going on over there, the very good people at Apple TV have been very kind to me. And I've reflected that in the articles that I've written on both soccer and on this project.
And we would never do anything to spite Apple, of course, even though we technically work for a Disney-owned company and we slash on them plenty.
Dude, but Apple sent me merch because of the soccer contracts, because of the soccer stuff I've been doing. So I've been very fortunate with this kind of stuff. So
what you want us to do is you want us to buy some iPhones. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Well,
he got a laptop. He got a MacBook, right?
Yep.
MacBook.
I got a MacBook.
Metal bottle water.
Dare you, corporate shill.
So, you got to know what pays the rent. So
exactly.
But like I said, for me, honestly, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I'm grateful for it, and I don't know. I know some stuff, but I don't know all of it, so I can't give too many spoilers. And I don't know how the series is going to end myself. So we'll see what happens and see if there's a season 2 or what the future may hold.
Well, yeah, it's only 8 episodes by the look of it.
Yeah, 10, I believe, actually overall. I thought.
Oh, because directors-wise, it said 8 for one.
They
and
might
8
not
for
have
the other.
updated IMDb because I could have sworn it was 10. I could be wrong though.
Well, I mean, I could be wrong. I didn't check to see the episode count. I was only going by the directors. But when exactly does that premiere? It premieres
actually,
this Friday.
Last Friday, yeah.
This Friday.
Well, actually, no. Last Friday was the first episode.
Oh, okay. It just says next episode. Okay.
Yeah, no, there is 10 episodes. They go through April 23rd.
All right.
So I thought it was a 10-episode series. Yeah, okay.
So yes, so we've got a show on A&E for you. We got a show on Apple Plus for you. Go ahead and check them out this weekend.
Yeah.
Lord knows there won't be anything else going on except maybe Cocaine Bear.
Except Bell Week 2, dude.
Yeah. Which I'll probably be seeing that on Thursday anyway, so my weekend will still be open.
All right. So,
but Day, any insight, thoughts, any more Apple shilling that you want to do?
I know.
So, by the way, do you want to think about it while you stroke the beard? Let me think about this.
I'm not touching it. Stop it. Leave me alone.
Well, why can't you touch your beard, Day?
It's in its moment. Leave it alone.
Barricade Bears. See, I told you it would hit.
That actually works. I'll take that one right there. I like that. So, yeah, I guess we'll call it at this point. Why not?
Yeah.
So
it's shorter than we've been doing. I just want to make sure there wasn't anything missing.
Yeah, no, it's fair. Well, you know what it is? Actually, the sports show ran a little bit, about an hour, and it got me realizing that when both shows run like an hour 20 each, I am just like dead to the world by that point.
Right. I mean, really, the only thing we could talk about, the only other thing that's on my mind would technically be sports oriented, although I know you guys didn't talk about it on the sports show. I'm pretty sure you didn't.
What's that?
That we're on the road to WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, basically in, TV and entertainment, the XFL is owned by The Rock and Danny Garcia, his ex-wife, which I said this on that show, credit for the ability to be able to work with your ex, especially when your ex gets remarried.
Yes, but now we're talking about the franchise that actually stays afloat so the XFL can keep going.
Check the Sports Den out. They griped hardcore about the.
Oh, yeah. Joe, if you want the sports-oriented program, it's on before this one, Sports Den.
It's on Stream. The All-Star Game. Look for Stream Punk Sports. You'll find it there. We went off on that one hardcore. That, however.
Oh, yes. John Wick's coming up, too. I know.
By the way, I'm going to make a prediction on this. The three of you can please thank Sal. The three of you, by the way, can make predictions on this, and thank you, Joe. We actually led off with I think the NBA on that one too. I'm gonna say 105 people murdered are killed by John Wick in the fourth movie, and 187 in the fifth.
I'm gonna say less.
Really, you think it's gonna go smaller?
Well, you said 100. So if you go less,
105 for 4, 187 for 5.
Well, yeah, because the third movie was all about him being excommunicado and him having to survive by all these people that want to take him out for the money. Now, for the fourth movie, he's presumably dead, for all accounts, even though people couldn't find his body, which after the fall he took. How are you not dead? Like, that's the kind of, like, Black Widow should have been dead from her fall, and John's was worse.
Yeah.
But when seeing what the movie is going to look like, it looks like it's a little bit more politicking than necessarily him evading anybody. So I feel like this is going to be more of a plot setup sort of thing than it is going to be just run and gun like he was doing before.
Someone will be half dead. Mostly,
There'll be a guy that gets like shot in the legs, but he's able to crawl home.
Okay, so basically, John Wick 1 had 84 kills, John Wick 3 had 94 kills, and John Wick 2 had 128. I don't think I'm that far off when I say 104 and 180 or 104 and 87.
I still think it's going to be double digit.
You're right.
Okay.
More likely to be double digit than triple.
All right.
Because supposedly they filmed the two of them back to back.
So I'm going to let y'all go because I got to be out.
All right.
Yeah,
we may as well call it on this side too. It's already 9:30. So
sorry, but
no, it's fine. It's fine.
So, why is Wick not dead? He moves on pure will. He works off ultra instinct.
Part of his dog has imbued him with special powers.
Sure. Oh God, the dog. So. But yeah, I think my guess is he'll probably die at the end of the fifth one. But
I hear there's a fifth one, so I don't know.
No, but there is. I think the fifth one is the last one. So I would suspect, if you ask my opinion, he's going to die in the fifth one and then be reunited in the afterlife with his dead wife, played by Bridget Moynihan. So
and the dog.
Yes, thank you. Oh God, yes, please, thank you.
Yes, you have to have the dog in heaven.
Oh,
all
dude,
dogs go to heaven.
Oh God, that makes my thought process even clearer. Because also keep in mind that the other dog, the manager of the hotel, enjoyed the company of that dog, so he could take over. The second dog.
Yes. The more dark, brooding, intimidating one.
Yes, the one that basically, in order to follow Keanu Reeves right at the end of the second movie, Keanu Reeves had to keep treats in his pocket in order to have the dog follow him. I remember, I was there, so
Yeah, it's a lot of people within the span of a week, but you know what? A lot of them were bad people. So
I was going to say it out Jack Bauer by a massive range.
Yeah,
Jack Bauer had 44 kills in a 24-hour period in his biggest movie, or in his most kill-worthy season. John Wick's like, yeah, for me that was Tuesday.
And that's the thing. Jack Bauer does that stuff day in and day out. That's his job.
Yeah.
Wick, he was retired. He was brought into all this.
Yeah, this wasn't even his prime. Yeek. Killed him with a pencil.
No, he has to die at this point. It's almost like a warrior's funeral sort of thing. He's gonna go out. You don't do as much damage as he does and walk away scot-free.
But he's going to do something that's going to completely uproot the system and probably save like thousands to tens of thousands of lives in the process.
Well, the thing is, there's also the spinoff that he's also supposed to be in. He's supposed to be in Ballerina, or he's supposed to at least make a cameo in Ballerina, which I can't wait to see that because that's going to be Ana de Armas. So I'm happy with that.
But yeah, I was say we got that one coming out. Fast X, I'm not going to lie, I'm interested in because it just looks stupid.
Too serious.
Yeah, that was next month. Next month actually is John Wick 4, May 24th or March 24th.
Yeah, no, a lot going on from between Scream 6.
Oh boy, yeah. No release.
Yeah, no, they're kicking off summer in the spring.
No release on the fifth one. He becomes death. I have become death.
They already call him Baba Yaga.
So, yeah. So, yeah, the only way that we actually learned basically what that meant too. So, I don't know. One of my favorite scenes is still when like John Leguizamo punches the mob boss's kid. I heard you stalked my son. Yes. May I ask why? Stole John Wick's car and killed his dog. Oh,
yeah.
Just that. Oh, I love that. Oh, it's like, oh, crap. And then kills the Allstate guy in the process, which nobody remembers that Dean Winters was in that movie.
My whole thing was, I think, what was it? More the second movie. He killed a guy with a horse.
Yes, well, the horse was the third movie.
Oh, what was the third movie? I thought it was second movie.
I remember because I was there for the horse. It was one of the 2 days that I did in John Wick 3. One of them, I sat in a taxi during that big, rainstorm. Sat in the car the entire night and never moved. And then the other one was the horse one. I'm like, how the hell are they incorporating a horse? Is this still New York?
They got horses in New York.
I know, but
they're whipped.
Are we somewhere else here? I saw him leave on the horse. It's like, okay, this is going to take some explaining to do. I can't say anything because there was an NDA involved, but now I can. But,
now.
Yeah. It was like 2018. I think I shot that right in June or July. So, all right, Ryan, I think we're good.
Yep. Again, go ahead, watch Hello Tomorrow on Fridays on Apple Plus. Don't forget to watch 24-Hour Flip this Saturday, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. Showing my employment.
Yes. So, like I said,
if there's any other shows premiering that you want us to talk about or check out, let us know. More than likely next week we will be talking Cocaine Bear, and if I'm lucky enough to find it, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, which is in limited release.
Was that still Jim Cummings? Oh, bother.
No. I don't think Jim's going anywhere near that one.
Oh, wow. That is a thing, isn't it? Oh, boy. Oh,
you didn't know Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey was a thing?
No, I did not. Not until
I thought we had talked about it on the show, at least.
We might have, but I got a brain like a sieve. So,
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Now that Winnie the Pooh is in the public domain, anyone can make a Winnie the Pooh movie.
So this is more based on the original A.A. Milne books, then.
Well, I mean, considering the original Disney stuff is very close to the A.A. Milne stuff, yeah, it's definitely based.
Some of the
more
other
off
Disney
book.
classics are not, however, too close to their source material.
Right, but I mean, when you see how many Pan movies there are out there for Peter Pan and everything, it's like, yeah, now Winnie the Pooh is finally eligible. Last year we already got like 3 Pinocchio movies. With
now we got a little
video
mermaid
game on the way this
nobody
year.
cares about. You know, the like dislike ratio on that was leave 1 to 10.
Yeah,
1 like to 10 dislikes, mostly because it's like Disney stopped making live action remakes and come out with original content.
well, I mean, Guillermo del Toro made the best of the 3, that's for sure.
But I never saw that one, but
yeah, I know you still haven't, but you really should. It, like, as far as stop motion animation, and considering it is Oscar nominated, awesome film.
Yeah, so you hope every kill is themed with Winnie the Pooh story. Shut up, Tigger.
Yeah, no, I could just imagine the poor victim being shoved into a tree and then dying from all the bee stings.
Ooh, yeah.
Or being like stuffed into a rabbit hole, but obviously the rabbit hole is a lot smaller in real life than it is in the book.
And what are they going to do to Piglet?
Oh, there's a picture of Piglet from the movie. Piglet don't look like Piglet. Piglet got big.
Oh yeah, it is definitely a bigger Piglet.
Yeah,
that kind of reminds me of like that random like pig bear costume from The Shining.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Funny bit of trivia for this.
Please.
The thing is, only the original work of Winnie the Pooh is eligible right now, which means Tigger, who came along in later books, couldn't be utilized for this adaptation.
Interesting.
His book that he's involved in won't become eligible until next year. So if they do decide to do a sequel, they already have the sequel bait with introducing Tigger.
You know, I'm just really nervous about saying the word Tigger. Just a little too close to some other words out there. Let's see.
Why? It's T-I-double-G-R.
Let's see. Craig.
The wonderful thing about Tiggers is Tigger's a wonderful thing.
The Area 51 incident. Yeah, if you want to talk blood and honey, I'm sure I can do a deep dive into this because I'm really curious to see what some of these other people have done. Because you might find somebody that was in randomly, it's just some weird movie. You're like, oh my god, I know that movie. That's the guy.
Oh yeah, no, this is obviously a cash grab just because you could use the name after all this time.
Mm-hmm. By the way, at some point we're gonna have to talk about Samurai Cop 2. I swear to God, we have to. Freaking love that movie. Listen, all I need to say about that is Samurai Cop 2 has Tommy Wiseau as a ninja.
Ugh.
Just gonna leave that one out there. Oh, it's better. It's actually better / worse.
I did not kill him, Sensei. I did not.
Dude, he's an evil ninja, and it's like it's they knew exactly what they're getting with Tommy Wiseau.
Does he wear a white belt? Because then it's already it's him.
What's that?
Does he wear a white belt like he always does?
I don't remember if he did or not.
Because I mean that would just be funny. Because every time I see the man, he's like. There's almost like that stigma with like dudes that wear white belts are automatically douches, and considering he's a ninja, if he has a white belt on, it's gonna be funny. Oh my god, he looks like Kato from the Green Hornet.
Yeah, I just love it. You know.
I'm sorry, that's supposed to be a ninja?
Yeah. Like I said, it's just so absolutely incredibly terrible. I just had so much fun with it.
Oh
I liked it more than The Room because they knew what they were getting with this guy, and they're just like, just go.
Yeah. Just side question. I know we're ending, but are we going to bring back Bad Movie Beatdown? Because I almost feel like this is like asking for it.
You know what? You and I talked about doing a second show during the week, like on a Thursday or something. This is the kind of stuff that would be 100% prime for that. We're going to add it to the list of things that we're going to talk about off camera because I think a second show is a really smart idea for both channels, but especially more than anything else, this one. You know, so if we did something like that, oh yeah, this movie, please. Oh
yeah. As a matter of fact, anyone that's watching the episode this far in, and this is the end, we promise. If there's any movie that you want us to watch for a Bad Movie Beatdown that we have not done already, let us know in the comments so that this way we can go ahead, see what's available, see what we can find. Obviously, there's all the different streaming networks. More than likely, there's a good amount of garbage on everything.
So that's your. By the way, that's your official.
Is that supposed to be him with a lightsaber?
Yeah, it is.
Oh my god.
Apparently, here's the funny. The other two guys that are there were the guys from the original movie, but the main guy, dead smack in the middle, it's the same actor, but he decided to just change his name randomly from one name to a completely different one. So I actually wasn't sure. I actually thought it was a different actor, for Samurai Cop 2. No, it's the same guy. He just changed his name top to bottom.
And I'm sorry, Deadly Vengeance.
Oh yeah.
You couldn't have come up with a more trite subtitle. Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna pan the hell out of this thing.
Oh, dude, it is so much fun.
Oh,
so,
there is not enough alcohol. I can't make enough hurricanes for this.
Oh, dude, it is, like I said, I had so much fun with this movie. It was on like Amazon Prime or something like that. And it was worth every minute, 100%. But anyway, I guess we may as well call this, what?
Yes, please. Now that this image is in my head.
Ah, yes, cool. And it's only going to get worse for you, sir. So. All right. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it. You rocked. Day had to step out. That's fine. But all right, let me do this again. Okay, apparently, let me just say this. I thought you did that, actually. Apparently, I must have hit, there's a video here on Restream that was like the gopher dance that apparently I was in there at some point, which I
probably put that in when we did Caddyshack 2.
Yeah, see here. So apparently, yeah, that was whoops on that one. I just hit it by mistake, meant to hit your end one, but hit, the thing too early. Okay. Anyway, folks, that should probably do it for me and Ryan. Day had to pop out early. So thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it. On that note, I can probably only go further downhill. So I'm going to shut up at this point. Say have a great night. Thank you as always for listening. Take notes on what you guys want. We'll listen. And as always, stay awesome. Cheers.